Hi guys, Neil again with the Energy Academy by Modo. Now we've had a look at how the price of electricity is set under current market conditions, it's important to know the context. In Great Britain, our electricity system is privatised. This is vital. Prior to the mid to late 80s, it was nationalised. But what's the difference? You still paid for the electricity you use. People still came round and read your meters and figured out what you had to be charged. While some of the details and the names of the companies involved in this process have evolved and are still evolving, it's materially the same thing, right? Well, not quite. In the past, the electricity system in Great Britain was organised as a government-run monopoly. The Central Electricity Generating Board, or CEGB, was responsible for the generation, transmission, distribution and supply of electricity to homes around the country. Major oversimplification incoming. Before privatisation, the government looked after and built generators, transmission lines, distribution lines via the CEGB. The upkeep of all of this was then paid for through your bills and taxes. The production of electricity wasn't primarily profit driven, so in theory the sale of electricity had to just cover the costs of generation and transmission, etc. But in the late 1980s and early 1990s, the government was involved in the process of privatisation. This included selling off the CEGB and other public-owned utilities to private investors. In turn, this marked a shift in the way that the electricity market in Great Britain was organised. So, what are the main differences between pre-privatisation and post-privatisation electricity markets in Great Britain? Well, before privatisation, there was no competition in the electricity market. Consumers had no choice of supplier and had to purchase their electricity from the CEGB at the price set by the government. But after privatisation, the market was opened up to competition and suddenly consumers had a choice of who to buy their electricity from. This led to a more market-driven approach with prices fluctuating based on supply and demand. There's that concept again. Secondly, before privatisation, the CEGB was responsible for managing all aspects of the electricity system, from generation through to supply. This made it much easier to coordinate the system. After privatisation, the market became much more complicated with dozens and hundreds and thousands of companies involved at different stages of the supply chain of electricity. To find out more about what happens at each stage of that chain, make sure to go back and check out the first series of the Energy Academy. So in today's world, we have a number of different electricity markets and mechanisms and services all functioning at the same time and sometimes carrying out wildly different purposes. But it would be an oversimplification to suggest that the emergence of these multiple markets is strictly down to privatisation. It's not. In the drive to cut down our carbon emissions, renewable technologies have emerged. These technologies often have intermittent or unreliable generation patterns. So this combination of new technologies and increased competition has made it more difficult to coordinate and manage the electricity system. However, it also allows for more innovation and more competition. Before privatisation, the CEGB was able to make long-term investments in our electricity infrastructure, power stations, transmission lines and distribution networks. But after privatisation, private companies have taken on this role. The level of investment in electricity infrastructure is now more focused on how profitable it is. Overall, the privatisation of the electricity industry has brought about huge changes to the system in Great Britain. We've seen the introduction of competition, a more market-driven approach to pricing and investment, and a shift in the way that the whole system is coordinated and managed. So now that you understand the context and the changes that have led to today's electricity market, it's time for you to understand how the electricity market works. In the next episode, I'll be offering an introduction to the wholesale electricity market in Great Britain. I'll see you there.